you on this Friday. I hope you're having a good day, and I trust that we can make it a little bit better by sharing God's Word with you. Remember John the Baptist? I mean, if John the Baptist can be disillusioned and have his assumptions crumble, that's a pretty good indicator that that can happen to any of us. As a matter of fact, Jesus said, of those born of a woman, there's none greater than John the Baptist. And the last time I checked, everybody's born of a woman. So Jesus had a lot to say as far as bragging about John the Baptist. So John the Baptist's disciples went away after Jesus said, go tell him what you see. That'll reaffirm that I really am who he said that I am. And then he turned to everybody that was left over and he said, so what did you go out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken in the wind? What does that mean? Whatever direction the wind's blowing, that's the direction that reed bends. A men pleaser. Sort of like politicians. You know, I'm grateful that in this country that we don't have to like dethrone a king by assassinating him or have some kind of a big revolution or something like that. We do it with the voting booth. But have you noticed, to get elected, lots of politicians do what? Which direction is the wind blowing? That's what I'm for. I'm for whatever you're for. What are you for? That type of business to get themselves elected. And so consequently, whatever their opponent does, no matter what it is, he can't even hold his fork right. You know, and whatever they do, it's going to be exactly what we need and exactly what we want. That's a reed shaken in the wind. And then Jesus said, or somebody in soft clothing. People in soft clothing are in palaces. They're in king's houses. So what were people doing in that day and time? They were being men pleasers, shoulder rubbers, so that they could be the ones in the soft clothing, in a position of leadership. And he said, but if you went out to see a prophet, you were right. As a matter of fact, more than a prophet. He's the one that was spoken by the prophet where it said, I send my messenger ahead of you who will prepare your way before you, speaking of the Messiah. You see, there were prophets up to John the Baptist, but none of those prophets were the forerunner, the one who came right before the Messiah to announce his coming. But that's who John the Baptist was. What a guy. I'm looking forward to being home with the Lord Jesus Christ and worshiping him forever and ever. But I also want to meet this guy that lived out in the wilderness on locusts and wild honey and wore animal skins because that's where God wanted him to be. Not because he was weird, but because he wasn't in soft clothing and he wasn't telling people what they wanted to hear. He was telling them exactly the way that it was. May his number increase. God bless you. I'm done.